Alcohols are a really important class of organic molecules because they can be used to make a variety of other organic molecules. For example, we can dehydrate an alcohol, meaning we've removed the hydroxyl and the hydrogen, to form alkenes, which we know from previous chapters are the starting materials for many different kinds of important compounds, like polymers, which are used for plastics. However, we're going to focus on the oxidation of primary and secondary alcohols. So we remember oxidation and reduction from previous chapters. Oxidation occurs when a species loses electrons, so metals, elemental metals like iron tend to get oxidized, and reduction occurs when something gains electrons, so things like halogens tend to gain electrons to become anions. When we're talking in the context of organic chemistry, however, most of our reactants and products don't have charges, so we're going to use a different way to determine whether oxidation or reduction has occurred. So here are the criteria on this slide. A molecule is oxidized if it increases the number of carbon-oxygen bonds and or decreases the number of carbon-hydrogen bonds. And an organic molecule is reduced if during the process of reaction it decreases the number of carbon-oxygen bonds and or increases the number of carbon-hydrogen bonds. So how does that apply to the oxidation of alcohols? Well, oxidation occurs when primary and secondary alcohols are converted to carbonyl-containing compounds by an oxidizing agent. And a carbonyl compound, or the carbonyl group, is a carbon that is doubly bonded to an oxygen. So on this graphic right here, we see a graphic of an alcohol where the hydroxyl hydrogen and hydrogen bonded to that hydroxyl-bearing carbon are in blue. In brackets here is this O, which stands for oxidizing agent. And when that oxidizing agent reacts with an alcohol, then we form a carbonyl compound. So we see this alcohol has increased its number of carbon-oxygen bonds with this carbonyl group, and it has lost carbon-hydrogen bond, so it has gotten oxidized. Now in parentheses here we see this minus H2. The two hydrogen that are lost from the alcohol in this oxidation, in this redox, aren't necessarily lost or don't necessarily form hydrogen gas, but they will go on to react with something else typically.